second session of financial year 2023-24 for our forum. And considering the stock market conditions, with the massive variations going on, people having their own interpretations, it's possibly a best case for us to have a speaker like Mr. Prashant Sawant today, who has a massive experience of the stock market. Of course, before I introduce him, let us raise for the prayer, and then we'll have our formal session going on.
विष्णु गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुः साक्षात् परब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः विघ्नेशानमुनि गुरु सस्मरुनि लक्ष्मी स आवाहिले आम्ही गुंतवणूक शास्त्र शिकण्या हे सत्र आरंभिले केव्हा स्थावर आणि जंगम कधी कोठे किती गुंतवू चर्चा मंथन तज्ञ बोध मिळता हे प्रश्नही सोडवू ठेवी भाग सुवर्ण पोस्ट अथवा रोखे तसे फंडते वृद्धी भांडवली मिळो कर नको पर्याय हो कोणते कोठे उत्तम रोखता सुगमता लाभांश वा व्याजही कोठे गुंतविणे सुरक्षित असे नोंदीस कैसी वही सन्मार्गे धन संपदा मिळविणे अत्यंत आवश्यक पैसा ध्येय नसे म्हणून जपणे जाणीव सामाजिक ज्ञानाचा उपयोग गुंतवणुकी साठी सदा होऊ दे हे सारे समजावया सुमती दे आम्हास तू शारदे विष्णु गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुः साक्षात् परब्रह्म.
Good morning. Now let me introduce our speaker formally before we start with the session. Mr. Prashant Sawant is a mechanical engineer from Mumbai University, and he has worked as a vice president with JP Morgan. He made his first investment in stock in 2002, and from 2017 I think he is a founder of Catalyst Wealth. With this short introduction, I would leave the dais to Mr. Sawant, but before we do that, I would request Alok Hardikar, Managing Committee member, to present Trimurti of Lokmanya Seva Sangha and pen as a token of our love and affection to the speaker. Addresses us a sincere request so that none of us have our flow broken in terms of the knowledge or the information which we get. So a sincere request to put your mobile phones on silent, because it typically disturbs the speaker as well as possibly all the attendants who are trying to listen to.
Good morning all. So सर्वजण सकाळी आलात, सो थँक्यू व्हेरी मच फॉर दॅट. अँड विल कीप इट ॲज अ मिक्स ऑफ हिंदी, इंग्लिश, मराठी, एव्हरीथिंग. लँग्वेज शुड नॉट बी अ बॅरियर फॉर एनिथिंग दॅट वी आर लर्निंग फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल. सो ॲज मिस्टर साने इंट्रोड्यूस, आय एम प्रशांत सावंत अँड इट हॅज बीन अ 20 years जर्नी. पण जर इफ यू गो बॅक जहाँ से शुरू किया था, सो आई स्टिल रिमेंबर 2002 when I took my first one share in Infosys. So I was so happy that I called out almost 10 to 15 people, my relatives and friends, to tell them that I have bought my first share. You know, that is where we all start. And why we start? Either by looking at money control, or by referring to someone's tips or by reading the newspapers, then we go to the next step. Now what is the next step? We feel that we know a lot about the stock market and we try to buy the Economic Times. And we don't only buy it, but we carry it. And we carry it in a way that everyone else should see it, that I read Economic Times. And that is how the journey starts. So yeah, I always tell the mistakes I have done, how I started. मग त्यांनी काय होतं सर्वांना कळतं. So that way I also started. Then I still remember 2007, I was working with Lehman Brothers. Everyone knows what happened with Lehman Brothers here. So one of the biggest investment banks on the US, just to let you know the size, you can say 20 times HDFC Bank today. It was in 2007. Now that time, I still remember that I used to look at Money Control and lot of other NSE India and all websites. I used to try and find the 52-week lows, means whatever stocks are trading at their 52-week lows. And I used to feel that Prashant Sawant is the only intelligent person in the world who knows that this stock it has a 52-week low. I am going to buy it and from here it will go to 52-week high. But when I did that, I saw that it used to make another low. Then I used to average. 100 पे लिया है, 80 पे मिल गया तो और खुश. So I used to average. 65 पे मिला तो और खुश. फिर 40 होने के बाद एक word सीखा मैंने नया, long term investment. So most of my long term investments were like that. And even if you see in the market today, when anyone says my portfolio is long term, उसमें आपको 100% yes bank मिलेगा. Okay, so that is the way the journey starts, everyone. And now what happens is that I saw इधर कुछ तो गलत है. Now every time, what is knowledge? Knowledge is when you learn from your mistakes and you decide, no, this is wrong, I should do something which is right. So I just made a small change. I was not knowing technicals, fundamentals. As an engineer, I could never connect. Because if you ask me and give me a balance sheet, I will tell, no, this is not my cup of tea. I am an engineer, I can analyze something, but I won't get into the... Now what happened is, I tried to change my approach to the market. Initially, the same way it started. So coming from a Maharashtrian family, and I got married in 2007, the same year. So the first words were ki, there are two words in Marathi and in Gujarati, which have spoiled a lot of dreams. Now in Marathi, those words are, Are पण कशासाठी? When you want to do something, पण कशासाठी? And in Gujarati, पण सेनी માટે, which means both mean the same, which means why do you want to do this? So everyone was like, you have a good job, you are progressing well, why do you want? I said I like this. Now why I liked it? क्यों मुझे अच्छा लग रहा था? So I saw that the company which was paying me, which was Lehman Brothers, or the company which is paying a lot of people, that is JP Morgan later on, their income is from the stock market. Now if a company is paying people salaries around 50-60 lakhs in 2008, 9, 10, and it is doing so well, definitely they are doing something which is different. Now they are not manufacturing, they are not doctors, or they are not doing any surgeries, but they are doing something which is different and there is a potential. Now, being a mechanical engineer, my aim after my engineering was immediately to start something into manufacturing. Because we always like machines, we like gearboxes, aircraft and air conditioning. So my aim was that कुछ ऐसा होना चाहिए जो दिखे. Now यहाँ पे neither do you see the currency, nor do you see anything. The stock price goes up, goes down, money comes in your account, goes out, but there is no hard cash, right? So the first rule that I learned is, in the stock market, money is not printed. It only exchanges hands. And where does it exchange hand? वो कहाँ हाथ बदला जिसे कहते हैं? Where does it do it? It does it from a person without knowledge to a person with knowledge. And that's when I saw that there is an opportunity here to gain knowledge and to get money from someone who is not having the knowledge. Now, the good part here is that every day there are a lot of people who come in here without knowledge but with lot of money. So when you get knowledge, their money is there for us to take. Now you may feel it's good, bad, but that is the way the world works. They want to lose it, तो वो कोई और कमाए उससे अच्छा मैं कमाऊँ. That is the way it is balanced. Now I did a small change in my approach, going back to where I started. So instead of buying 52-week lows, I used to look at stock which were trading above previous day high. Means I saw that if some stocks, that time there were a lot of stocks like Lanco, Infratech and all, which are not even listed today. So why I am taking these names? Because news that comes. So there was a stock called as Alpic. A person came to me एंड ही टोल्ड मी दैट मेरे पास एल्पिक के शेयर्स है एंड ये अभी तक डीलिस्ट हुआ था, वापस कब लिस्ट होगा? मतलब आई हैव नॉट हर्ड इट. तो बोला कि इसका स्टोरी आपको पता है? आई सेड नो. सो ही सेड एल्पिक का उल्टा क्या होता है? ALPIC. I said Cipla. So he said, so when Cipla was running, this company was there and it started going up every day, and the rumor that was spread in the market was that this is the financing company of Cipla. So a lot of people reading the news and the tapes and from the brokers, they started buying Alpic, and then Alpic was delisted. It was not in the market. So even today it is seen in their portfolio, but there is no price. Now why I am sharing all this at the start is because we feel that stock market में पैसा जाता ही है. It is not that way. Your mutual funds, in fact, even today, the PF that is hardened, PF, a major part of that is now put in the stock market officially, and in fact, they are looking at increasing that. So people have realized the potential of the stock market because अगर हम inflation को देखें, it is only going to increase from here. And the way I see the stock market, in fact, the next half of the year will be more painful. You know, when we see a rally. When we see, there are two participants, there are three people in the market. One is a bull. Bull यानी जिसे लगता है the price will go up. One is a bear, the one who feels that the price will go down. There is a third person, जिसे मैं spectator कहता हूँ, who is just sitting on the fence and observing कि मुझे यहाँ कहीं तो आना है, either bull side or bear side, but he is waiting for an opportunity. But if I ask you a basic question, just to start the understanding, that we say that for every buyer there is a seller. ओनली देन अ ट्रेड हैपन्स. अगर किसी को बेचना है तो किसी को खरीदना है तो ही एक ट्रेड होगा. देन वाई इन अ बुल मार्केट द प्राइस गोज अप एंड वाई इन अ बेयर मार्केट द प्राइस गोज डाउन? बिकॉज एवरी ट्रेड होगा कब? व्हेन एवरी बुल विल बाय, अ बेयर हैज टू सेल. व्हेन एवरी बेयर विल सेल, अ बुल हैज टू बाय. सो वाई द प्राइस गोज अप और द प्राइस गोज डाउन? कैन एनीवन थिंक? एनीथिंग, एनी आंसर? Yeah, that is the basic word. But why? Demand supply hai. Now suppose we know that, for example, Reliance has supplied 2500. So it comes to 2500, someone will sell, but someone will also buy. So there is a equality. Why is it going down from that level?
Someone who buys, he feels that bull is there. Someone who wants to sell, he feels that he pays.
That is true. But for every bull, there is a bear. So there is there are equal number of participants. Still, why in a bull market the price goes up? And in the bear market it goes down.
So there are more buyers in the bull market and there are more sellers in the bear market.
No, for every buyer there will be a seller. For every seller there will be a buyer.
Buyer is ready to pay a higher price.
This is the answer. So I'll tell you what is the answer. So in a bull market, a buyer is ready to buy at any higher price. So they will put a market buy. You know, there is a market buy, there is a limit buy. So they will put a market buy at any price. Stock 1000 पे चल रहा है, they are ready to buy at 1005. They will put a market buy. So that emotion that makes the price go up fast, and even if the bears are trying to catch up, they cannot match it. Similarly, in a bear market, the bears are ready to sell at even low prices. Normally हम क्या कहते हैं? Sell higher, buy lower. But in a bull market, bulls are ready to buy higher, and in a bear market, the bears are ready to sell at any low price available. They will keep on selling whatever price is available. They will keep on selling, and because of that discrepancy and that strong control, that is where the price changes, exchanges hands, and the momentum comes, whether it's a bull market or a bear market. So always remember this concept. And at the same time, before we start, one major thing is that we look at stock market with fear, right? Everyone, एक डर से हम देखते हैं स्टॉक मार्केट की तरफ, दैट यहाँ पे मेरा पैसा जाएगा. तो एज आई सेड राइट एट द बिगिनिंग, अगर जाएगा तो किसी के पास तो जाएगा. So किसी का आपके पास भी आ सकता है. It can always come. The only thing that is the gap here is the knowledge. And I see that if we look at from the college levels. So I don't know how many of you know this, but I have seen in my investment banking career that the brand that we consider to be very high, which is IIT IIM, when they go to the investment banks in the US, for 2.5 years, they are not allowed to touch the system. And all they do is the quants and all those who are from the Ivy Leagues and who are making those models, they just tell them that you have to come and sit here and get coffee for me. They are paid. जो salaries आप देखते हो, salaries मिलती है. They are not allowed to touch the system because they don't know what is technical analysis, where you buy, where you sell. So they are made to learn in that hard way. But it looks all jazzy from outside. But this is the level where the Indian stock market is premature, the knowledge is less, but the American markets are far more developed, the participation is more, and slowly we see that from 2020 हमारे यहाँ भी participation बढ़ने लगा, because COVID gave an opportunity and lot of new people came in. But again, if you see the last month ka statistics where the market gave a jitter, lot of people have gone away from the stock market. So ideally what should happen is you should come in an investment with a goal. Goal क्या होता है? That suppose people say long term, but say for example a person would have invested in the stock market in 2015-16 with an intent to get his daughter or son married in 2020 April. A basic goal, or say would have to send his son or daughter to a foreign country for further education. Now that person would have made decent returns till 2019 end. And imagine in March 2020 what would have happened? All would have gone back to where he started. So आपको पता होना चाहिए कि ये मेरा गोल था, ये अचीव हो गया, now I have to book my profits and come out. Now when you follow these kind of things, then the stock market will never surprise you. You know, what is the difference between a stock market and regular life? So in our regular life, we know that 10th tak school hai, 12th tak college normally, then I'll go for my graduation, then I'll go for my post-graduation, I'll marry, have kids, and they'll continue the same thing. Ek cycle is decided. But in a stock market, the only thing that is certain is uncertainty. मतलब next moment क्या होगा वो हमें पता नहीं होता है. But if you are able to do something where you can bring this uncertainty to your probability, मतलब ये जो uncertainty है, if you can develop a system where you can make a probability of at least 50% success rate, then definitely the place is good for you to be in. Now, what a lot of people do is they come in without, for example, just let me give you an example. In my most of the programs, a lot of people are surgeons. Some of the top surgeons in the country are learning in my programs. Now, I always ask them, by looking at YouTube, आपको कोई भी ऑपरेशन थिएटर में सर्जरी करने देता था कि मैंने यूट्यूब पे देखा, अरे हाँ ये ऐसे काटना है, ऐसे उधर जाके कोई देता था, या कोई had any patient even allowed you to do it? They said no. But the sad part is that even to be an engineer, I had to study. Otherwise, nobody would have given me that degree. Now here what we do is, I open an account, I put some money. From the next day, I am a trader, or initially I am a trader, and then when I get an yes bank, I am an investor. You know, so that is the way everyone's journey starts. Now, where we should keep a border? First thing, as I said, we should have a goal. Why am I coming in the stock market? Yes, making money is important, but the most important thing is to be consistent. What do you mean by consistency? Consistency is if I am taking 10 trades or 10 investments, at least 5 of them should work. 50% is a very good success rate. But your risk to reward has to be at least 1:2. What do you mean by that? Suppose I am buying a share at 100 rupees, for example, any stock. Now I should know first thing कि मुझे इसमें से बाहर कब जाना है. ये मेरी what is my exit point? See where Abhimanyu faltered, we all know. उसे पता था चक्रव्यूह में जाना कैसे, बाहर आना पता नहीं था. This is the same चक्रव्यूह. So अंदर जाने के पहले you should know how to come out. So you should know that मैंने अगर ये 100 पे लिया है, I will exit at 80 rupees. Now that can be a monetary exit, that means you have decided that I will exit at 80, or it can be based on the technical systems, that my system is telling me exit at 85, so I will exit at 85. But what people do is they buy at 100, they add more at 85. Sometimes it may work, but most of the times it will not. And then you have to hold. So that is where the initial decision is my exit point. Now, those who would have seen me, so I have been 8 times winner on India's only live trading show, which is on CNBC Awaaz. So 8 is a shared highest till date. And if you just give me 2 minutes, I would like to show you one video which will have some knowledge for you all.
वीकनेस की बात हुई थी, कल सुबह कॉल लिया था, बिकवाली का प्रेशर हावी होगा. देखिए चार्ट्स क्या ब्यूटीफुली एक्सप्लेन करते हैं चीजों को, और उसके बाद खबरें कैसे फॉलो अप करती हैं. कल शाम को एक खबर आई, और कल प्रशांत सावंत साहब ने 195 के टारगेट्स पकड़े थे. जुड़ गए क्या प्रशांत जी? प्रशांत जी गुड मॉर्निंग. कल लिया था बिकवाली का कॉल हमने, है ना? जी जी बिल्कुल. अरे बढ़िया सटीक बैठा है. खबरें और कल बहुत छपे ना है सेकेंड हाफ में, और आप खबरें बुरी है. रिविजिट करा जाए उस कॉल को प्रशांत जी.
So just stopping it, I'll just tell you what happened here. So on this afternoon, that is before 3:30, one of my systems showed me a cell call on Z entertainment. So I said that this is a good level to sell Z, and I gave this short call on Z at around 3:15. 6 o'clock in the evening, there was a news, some IndusInd Bank Z, some issue, NCLT issue and all. I don't read much into it. But what happened is, immediately next day morning, all the people on all the channels were talking that Z girega. But I was the first one to say it based on the technicals, without knowing what is happening in Z, what is happening. Had it been some other chart also, anything else, A, B, C, D, but doing the same thing, I would have told short A, B, C, D. Now that name was Z, so I said Z. Why I am saying this? There should be no emotions. When we think, अरे Z है, ऐसा है, नहीं HDFC बैंक तो sell नहीं करना चाहिए. No emotions. If the system is saying that this is weak, you sell it. If the system is saying this is strong, you buy it. Now next day morning, Z fell by 15%. 15% fall at the open is huge. Now those who know what is shorting, or those who know how the shorting market works, that was one of the best trades which happened. So why I gave this example is that without any emotions, and mainly when you talk on a leading business channel, there are a lot of people watching you. So you are held accountable. It cannot happen that आप आज बोल के चले गए, कल कोई पूछ ही नहीं रहा है. ये पहले होता था. Now it doesn't happen. You can be easily replaced because there are a lot of people waiting. They are jealous that there is someone else on the spot and they want him to fail. And the day he fails, they are waiting to take his place. So there is a pressure to continuously perform, and that's what keeps you on your toes. कि मुझे अभी ये इससे अच्छा करना है, इससे अच्छा करना है. That is how it starts. Now let me simplify everything for you. My aim for today's session is that हम बाहर जाने के पहले at least कुछ तो ऐसा पता होना चाहिए which should help you to do basic investment at least, or look at your own portfolios and rectify your mistakes and move from the bad investments to the good investments. So normally, so this is what the audience I have had in the past 6 years. I have had homemakers, I have had advocates. My lowest age person was 19. My highest age person is 77. So age is not a barrier. And I still remember a person came to me in 2018, very senior person, and he was, that time my programs used to be in person. Now all are online and pre-recorded. So that in person क्या होता था, that you learn something, you feel you know, but then there is nothing to rewind and forward. But online, when it is pre-recorded, you can access it as many times as you want. So because of COVID, that change came. So this senior person came in, he was almost of the age of my father. So I asked him, you are not able to walk, do you need any help, or shall I, do one-on-one online for you? You can go to your house. So, no, I want to learn this. So I asked him, but at this age, why do you want to learn? You are almost 72. So he said, I have invested my money in the stock market for a long time. I have lost money, I have made money. Overall, I have made good money. But I want to know what is the science behind this. And his exact words were that this will, make me happy. कि इसके पीछे क्या है? So I felt that at the age of 72, if someone is showing that kind of an interest, energy, that point of time I was somewhere around 38, 37. So that gave me more energy, to deliver in that lecture as well as to learn more. That is how the journey started. Now there are two approaches. So we'll just start now to a stock market. It is a fundamental approach, technical approach. Which is right, which is wrong? Both can be right, both can be wrong if you approach wrongly. Now, what are the pros and cons? So in fundamental analysis, forget about all this. What happens is, if I were to talk about fundamentals of any company, we need to know a few things. Name of the company, product of the company, then we need to know the management of the company, then we go more deeper to our shareholding pattern of the company, promoters of the company, government policy with regards to the product of that company, which can change anytime. Then we need to know the peers. Peers मतलब अगर HUL है तो उसके जैसे और कौन है? Then we need to know any company will have an impact of foreign currency. USD INR का impact होता है. So we need to know what USD INR is doing. We need to know what crude is doing. Somewhere or the other, your downstream raw material or somewhere in the line, crude will play an impact. So we need to know what crude is doing. We need to know what other commodities are doing. We need to know what is happening in the global market with regards to that product. Now at every point of time, Is it possible to know all these things? According to me, no. But at every point of time, do these things change? No. The management of the company does not change every day. The product of the company does not change every day. But you see that now, in fact, I happened to go on a program by DD Sahyadri, which is called as Banda Rupaya, which is in partnership with BSE India. So there, once Mr. Shailesh Pete, who is a very strong and good anchor, he asked me a question that I'll just talk in Marathi if all are okay, just this one point. So he asked me a question, अरे प्रशांत, महिंद्रा अँड महिंद्रा आता ट्रॅक्टर्सचं ह्याच्यामुळे पडायला लागलाय, रेनफॉलला इफेक्ट आहे. सो आय सेड की आय जस्ट हॉल्ट यू हिअर. आपण गेल्या महिन्यात बोललो महिंद्रा अँड महिंद्रा खूप वाढतोय कारण SUVsचा सेल वाढतोय, EV वाढतोय. म्हणजे गेल्या वर्षी महिंद्रा SUV आणि EVची कंपनी होती गेल्या महिन्यात आणि ह्या महिन्यात ती ट्रॅक्टरची कंपनी झाली, असं आहे का? सो ही सेड नो, तेव्हा पण ट्रॅक्टर होते, आज पण ट्रॅक्टर आहेत. सो आय सेड सी, न्यूज कॅन बी मेड द वे they want to make it. When it is going up, they'll say it's a EV and SUV company. When it's going down, they may say it's a tractor company. Is it going to help us as an investor? I think no, because this is all post-mortem, hone ke baad. But is there something which can help us in advance? So definitely yes. What is it? We'll see it. So it is cause and effect. We don't need to know the cause. We need to understand the effect. Now what is the effect? The effect is in the price of that stock. So if we understand the price, we can always align our strategy or our goal to that price, and we can plan our investment or our trade according to that. So that is the main difference. Now we'll talk about what are charts. So right from our school days, we have seen this x-axis and y-axis. Very simple. Everybody has done it in basic maths. Now, if I tell you that on the x-axis, I want the time to be plotted. Time means Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. And on the y-axis, I want the price to be plotted, which is, say for example, it is Reliance. So on Monday, if Reliance closes at say 2,200, I want a dot to be plotted, closing price 2,200. Tuesday 2,250, Wednesday, Thursday, so on and so forth. So that is how the closing prices will be plotted: Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. That is a week. Now what I want is, I just join these closing prices. Now does it make a chart? It is a chart, right? It is called as a closed line chart or a closed line graph. We'll use the word chart. Now how is this going to help me? What will I do by looking at this? First thing is, we don't need to draw this, nor do we need to buy any software. It is available freely on any website, and I'll tell you what is the website at the end of the program. So all we need to know is how to apply it, how to use it. Now if I tell you that I just want this line to be drawn, which I call as a magical line, and if I tell you that you buy any stock, any commodity, any cryptocurrency, any currency pair, USD INR, JPY INR, or anything in the world that is traded on an exchange, when it closes above this magical line, okay, you hold it till two levels. One is either till it breaks the line, or two, till your financial goal is achieved for that particular investment. Which means, suppose I have bought something at 200 rupees, my target is to make 20%, it goes to 240, I'll sell, right? But what is the other exit point? As per the system, so there is a saying in technical analysis, your reason to enter should be the reason to exit. So why did you enter? Because this closed above the magical line. So when will you exit? When it closes below the line, right? So just by using this simple technique, if I look at this chart, which is Reliance Industries, I have specifically put the April 2020 chart. April 2020 में क्या हुआ था? COVID. What was all around on all TV channel? What was the emotion? Fear. Everybody was under fear. In fact, if I think about it now, so Prachi, who happens to be my dealing head, at that point of time, she was the only one going to the office. And even I used to feel by looking at the news and all, whereas I don't follow news, you put on the news in the morning 6:40, and कसं असतं normally when you have senior citizens, my father is now 72, first thing he does in the morning is to put on the news. So I used to always see Germany, 1 lakh gone, there, all negativity. So you used to feel that if I step out of the house, there is this virus flying in the air who is ready to attack me. See, it was that kind of an emotion, right? All fear. And in that, what happened is, if you just look at this, removing all the news, this is the Reliance, same thing chart. See, x-axis, your time, y-axis is the price here, and this is what is joined, and this is the magical line. So what did the line tell me? In April, when there was fear, that Reliance was telling me, you know what, I am going above the magical line, so you buy me. And what was the price? It told me, you can buy me around 1000 rupees. Now, koi bolega, are but bottom to 900 bana tha. You can never buy at the bottom. Okay, if anyone ever tries to tell you, buy at the bottom, please run away from that place. It will never happen. It should never happen. If a stock has gone from 900 to 1500, if you have entered at 1000, 1050, 1100 and exited at 1300, you have made a good amount of trade. वो 900 से 1500 is just a story. I have not seen it happen once. Sometimes by fluke it may happen, but if you give your brain a message that yahi hona chahiye, then you will always end up making mistakes. So what did the system tell? That you enter at 1000. Now if you look at this, there was one exit given at somewhere around 1250, 1300 rupees. Now how much is that in terms of returns? 30%. 30%, but where? Now I'll take you to the emotions. 23rd March 2020 till lot of time. Every single industry came to a halt globally. The doctors were at home, the engineers were at home. A lot of my friends are at good positions in banks. So when I used to work from home for my investment banks, JP Morgan, Lehman Brothers, they used to tell me, घर पे बैठ के कभी काम होता है क्या? And I used to say that होता है, because my system, I go in the office and I log in, so I can access from here. I have the remote connect, so it is the same thing. In fact, घर से ज़्यादा काम होता है. And 2020, all those banks started working from home. HDFC, ICICI, those people did not have time to eat. घर से काम कर रहे, they did not have time to eat, and the whole world was changing because everything came to a standstill. But there was one industry globally, पूरे world में, which was not allowed to shut down for a second. That industry was the global stock markets. You talk about Germany, you talk about any country, and you look at their stock markets, every single day they were working. The systems were brought to the homes of the traders. There were huge machines brought to the, I know this personally because I was connected to a lot of people. So in UK, London, everywhere, there were systems which are taken to their houses, four screens given to them, that from tomorrow morning we have to be up and running. We cannot afford to go down. So this one industry was always working. And then if you see, there was another entry. So the magical line told us, you can re-enter here. And that move went from 1300 to almost 2000. So effectively, if you see, in 4 or 5 months, Reliance went from 1000 to 2000. And if one person would have just followed this thing without reading anything in the world, without looking at any news, he would have at least, अगर वो 1000 पॉइंट गया है, हम 500 तो ले ही सकते हैं. In worst case, I am not saying आप पूरा ले लो, but थोड़ा तो ले, because emotions will play. See, where money is involved, there are emotions involved. So emotions will always come into picture. Now, so this is how Reliance worked. Similarly, this is how the entire pharma sector worked. So I have put a chart of Lupin. Then if you look at it, so this is the Yes Bank chart. Now check this, right? Somewhere around August, this is August 2018. What happened is, this said at around 360. Now this is very close to me, this incident. Why? Because without taking the name, there is a senior person who stays in my locality. He had at this price more than 40-50,000 shares of Yes Bank. And he happened to meet me on a morning walk. So I told him that, Kaka, मला असं वाटतंय तुम्ही Yes Bank मध्ये profit book करा. These were my words to him. Although I don't advise. Why? Because when I learned and I started to talk to people and helping them, you do this, do this. They used to laugh at me. अरे ये क्या कर रहा है? So that's when one of my coaches told me, see, when you know something and you try to give it for free, people will laugh at you. But the same thing, when you sell at a higher price, everybody will appreciate you and come to you, pay to you and learn. And that's where I experienced the same thing. So I told him just in the morning walk that, Kaka, hey, exit kara, thoda sa negative vatte. He came out with all the stories. Arey, you don't know Rana Kapoor? I said, yes, I don't know. So he said, he is this, he is that, he is going to do this. I said, okay. 1 month from that day, this stock, 350, had come to 180. But still he said, अरे काय प्रॉब्लेम नाही, लॉंग टर्म होणार तर 4 वर्षात बघतो आता. I said okay. 4 वर्ष नहीं, उस दिन से 1 year. That stock was 5 rupees. Obviously he exited in between. But where he had a chance to exit, holding a good profit, it went less than half for him. So that's where you have to cut out the emotions. This can happen everywhere. See, people say long-term stories. I have been to a seminar where a very, very famous, good mutual fund guy was talking strongly about DHFL in 2017. Today they will not even take the name because it is not listed. So these things happen, but if we understand, there are two ways it can help us. One is if we are into SIPs or into mutual funds, we can look at the fact sheet of the fund. Fact sheet matlab kya? We get every month or sometimes every quarter what are the stocks they are investing in. So you can look at it and see whether the stocks are good or bad using these basic systems. Or if you have your own portfolio, which normally every one of us has, so you can always look and decide that yes, this should not be in my portfolio, I can switch over to this stock. And if you look at the market now, the markets have changed. How? So I still remember 1996, my father had taken HDFC Limited. That time it was a 100 rupee face value share. So very small quantity. But later on it gave HDFC Bank and all those things. And then buy and hold used to work. And long term was doing well. Now what happened from 2016-17 is that the global markets have connected very strongly. Okay? And the market dynamics have changed. Long term has come down to a month. You see that sectors are changing. Today defense may work, next month sugar may work, next month metals may work, then lupin or pharma may work. So it is all changing. Now Infosys was the, as we say, the blue-eyed baby of the market. कि ये लेके रख देने का. But if you look at it, it has gone on 50% in the past 1 year. So those who bought it last year are in losses. So there is nothing like a good or bad. It has to be which sector is working. And how can you realize that? By using a basic thing like this or adding some knowledge. Now if you have the knowledge of fundamentals and your fundamentals ka knowledge is telling you that sugar sector may do well. So you can put your sugar stocks on this system, and when it gives an entry, you enter. When it gives an exit, you exit. So it's a combination of both can also be used. But suppose I don't know fundamentally that sugars are going to do well. On this, if I just run a scanner, the scanner will tell me that the sugar stocks are above this. So I can buy. Right? So that is the way technicals will give you the advantage to enter and exit. Now, so this is about the stock, same was about DHFL. But more than this, if you look at gold. So in 2020, a bull run started in gold. So gold is a commodity. And we as Indians have a lot of emotional attachment to gold. Right? Matlab, bahut jada. So even at 61,000, Akshay Tritiya, there was a shed outside Vamanari Pete and people were standing in queues. So, but here when there is an opportunity, nobody understands that you can buy gold here as well. So this is where before COVID, now people said COVID mein gold uppar gaya. But actually the price was saying it much before in advance that I am going above the magical line. It is time to buy gold. And that is where the entire bull run was very much on the charts. So an important point here is that any news, the way I showed you that Z video, any news is shown by the price well in advance. And later on, the news comes out. If you see, last month, so I was on the same channel, CNBC Awaaz, and a day before, Voltas had declared its results, which were very bad. I was not aware that they had declared the results. So I saw the chart, and on the morning show, around 8:15, when I was asked that, आपका pick क्या है? So I said, मैं Voltas को buy करूँगा, और मुझे लग रहा है यहाँ से Voltas अच्छा जा सकता है. And the next thing the anchor said is, so इसके बावजूद कि Voltas के नतीजे खराब आए हैं, इसके बावजूद कि Voltas का मुनाफा इतना कम हुआ है, प्रशांत सावंत कह रहे हैं कि इसको बाय करना है, तो डेफिनेटली इन्होंने कुछ तो देखा है. Now I cannot show a reaction that I did not know the results. So I said, हाँ देखा है. So and I showed confidence, and the market opened at 9:15. So my conversation was at 8:20, 8:25. Market opened at 9:15, and Voltas had closed at some 8:10 last day. It opened at 800. From 800 on that day, Voltas went to 865, which is 8% up in that day. And then everyone changed their statements on all the channels that Voltas ka munafa kam hai, but kuch to upar hai. Now see, that is how news can be tweaked. But the price was telling that यहाँ पे this is a time to buy it. Without, and I was not aware that results are declared. I was actually caught wrong-footed, but because of the knowledge, it went. Now there are times when it can go against you also. मतलब जब मैंने व्यू दिया है वो रॉन्ग भी जाता है, रॉन्ग जाना ही चाहिए. हर बार राइट हुआ तो ऐसा हो ही नहीं सकता. But when it goes wrong, you should know what is the exit point, right? You will never hear me talking things like when Reliance was 2750 something, December if I'm not wrong. There were a lot of people coming and telling on the channel, ये 3000 हो जाएगा. I never said it. क्योंकि when you are saying 3000 होगा at 2800 for example, you are talking 200 rupees up. बराबर ना 2800 से 3000. It came down to 2100. How many rupees did it come down? 700 rupees. Is it logical to hold a stock down 700 rupees to make 200 rupees? That is not a business. You are doing something which is not a business. So you know, I always talk about that अगर आप इस level पे ले रहे हो, आप यहाँ पे exit करो, which might be 50 points down, and आपका target यहाँ होना चाहिए, which may be 100 points down. So that is where I talk about a 1:2 kind of a risk reward. Now if you understand these basic things, you will stop making mistakes. First thing I told you, never buy 52-week lows. What you can do is buy 52-week highs, buy lifetime highs. So I'll tell you at the end a few good companies which are on my radar, but buy lifetime highs. Why? Because suppose a company is making a 10 or 15 year high in price. What is the price telling me? That the company is doing something that it has not done in its previous 15 years. Right? That is why it has come here. Because see, understand the emotion. Suppose 10 years ago someone took it at 200 rupees and it went to 50 rupees. So today when it comes to 200, what is that guy going to do for the first action? He is going to exit. ऐसे बहुत सारे जो stuck लोग हैं वो exit करेंगे, plus the one who bought it at 50, 60, 80, 100, he will also exit because he knows कि 200 से ये गिरा था. So everybody is going to exit. But against that selling also, when the price goes from 200 to 250, so what is it showing? There is some smart player who is invested in the company who knows that there is something different happening. Now you have to find these kind of stocks. And now how the emotion will change? अब ये 250 चला गया, so all these people who sold at 200 will feel, oh ये तो ऊपर गया. Now when it comes to 200, all these people will again buy. So that is how a resistance which was crossed will act as a support. That is the emotion, and that is how technicals work. So that's why you should try to find out stocks which are at lifetime highs, and you will find such stocks. Now, so what should we do? We say that buy on a dip. So if you look at a chart, what is this doing? This is making higher tops. See, these are tops, 2, 3, and these are tops, and these are bottoms. So it is making higher tops and higher bottoms. So in this kind of a trend, which is an uptrend, you should be trying to buy on this dip, right? But what people do is they find this kind of a stock, which is a downtrended stock, which I was doing 52-week lows in 2007. I used to find them. So what it is doing is, see, there is a rally, right? I used to buy here. It used to go down. I used to add more. It used to go down, and I used to end up in a loss. This is what we all do when we start. So always try to first understand the trend, whether it's an uptrended stock. So if I bought something at 100, your right way would be to add more at 120, to add more at 140, and your exit point keeps on coming up. 100 पे लिया है, initial exit point or 80, 120 पे लिया, 100, 140 पे 120, somewhere around 180 if it turns, your entire quantity will exit at 160. So all your quantities are in profit. The last one will be in a 20-point loss, which will be the logical exit. So you should always buy in an uptrend, and sometimes, so if you look at last few, that is Feb or something, the market was range bound, means in the same range. So that is called as sideways. Now this is an area where you should be just waiting, spectator, right? Bull, bear and spectator. So spectator is where you should be waiting. But always remember one thing, that before a big trend comes out, before the stock moves big, it will always be in a range. Like if you look at ITC, till last year, it was in a tight range. 200, again down 180. Again 200, again 180. So we were not interested. But there something is happening which is called as accumulation, which means smart money is buying that stock. Now we realize it when it goes to 220, makes a dip and then starts going up. That is where you should enter, and the chart will tell you that here you can enter. Now from there, if it has broken out of that range, it has doubled. ITC is just an example. There are many such stocks which have done that. So that is where you should be looking at it. Now, this is about how we started the journey. So this was, he is the 77-year-old. I always call him my youngest participant because he is the first one to always take any opportunity to answer a question, to post a query, everything. So we have this 1-year program where we had gone to, for 1 day of learning, we had gone to somewhere near Lonavala, Novotel Imagica. And before we take on question and answers and I talk about my program, so you can follow my YouTube channel, which is Catalyst Wealth, and this is my Twitter ID, which is @Prashant Wealth. So you can follow me on Twitter. I'm very active on Twitter and I'm a SEBI registered analyst. So I have the right to advise and talk about stocks, because you see a lot of people are advising, talking about stocks without being registered. When you are registered and whatever stocks I talk about, I cannot buy, but I can always advise my clients. So that is the difference between being a SEBI registered person and non-registered. So that is how the whole thing is shaped up. And what is this magical line? वो chart कैसे open करना है? Everything I'll give it to you at the end of the program. For now, just want to know your feedback and जो भी question हो, just ask.
What is that magical light?
I'll give you at the end of the program.
You spoke about screeners. Which kind of screeners do you use regularly? I know you like charting.
Oh.
So the guys are less.
To be very honest, till date, I mean, she knows, she looks at the dealing room. So till date, I have not used a single scanner or screener. Why? Because I feel the day I use it, I will lose my skill. What is my skill? That when I open a chart, my eyes can find a pattern. The day I start depending on a screener, I have a strong feeling that I lose my skill. So I don't use it. But yes, charting is good. Charting is good. So anything that you know. This magical line that I showed is a 20 moving average. Moving average matlab kya? So see, what is an average? If I say 10, 20, 30, a data set. What is it? 10 plus 20 plus 30, 60 divided by 3. 20 is the average. Now when I say moving average, suppose I say moving average 3. So it will be the latest 3 numbers. So if the numbers are changing, that is Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, it will consider the average 3 of the latest 3 numbers. So when I say moving average 20 on a daily chart, it is the average closing price of the latest 20 days of that particular stock. That is plotted by the stock, and obviously when a stock is going up, that average will also go up. When a stock is going down, that average will also come down. So that is the way it is plotted. So charting is good, and I think if you have any, there are a lot of paid softwares like Spider, then you have the one I use is Falcon, but I don't know how to make it, but you can easily make scanners. I use Falcon. But I don't make any scanners, so I don't know how to use it. But there are a lot of people who use it. They learn from me and they use the scanners. I don't use it because I prefer to see. So my habit from 2016 is that I see 150 to 180 charts daily. And initially when I started, so one example I'll give you here. When you start your journey in the stock market, see, your mind always talks to you, and life mein, your mind will always talk negative to you. How? Whenever you want to do anything, see, you start a new job, you will first feel, अरे मैं जाऊँ क्या, यहाँ पे मैं settle हो गया हूँ, वहाँ पे कुछ difficult हुआ तो कैसे होगा? Or when you start a new thing, stock market, यहाँ पे तो कुछ भी हो सकता है, loss हो सकता है, मैं करूँ क्या? There is only one moment in the life when your mind is strongly positive, and it says go for it. When is that moment? Can anyone tell me? Only one moment, as far as my experience around जितनों को देखा है, एक ही वो वक्त होता है when your mind always tells you yes, go for it. What is that moment? It is when you marry. That time your mind tells you, yes, this is the right person, let's marry. 10 years down the line, what your mind tells you all know it. But that moment, your mind tells you that yes, this is the, other than that, you are doing anything in the world, your mind will always give you a negative message. No, this is not the time. No, not this, something else. Let's not change the job, let's stay here. But when you marry, you always get a strong positive message. So that kind of a message, your mind should give you when you are doing anything and everything. Any other query? Next query.
Where do you see the chart? Where do you see the chart?
On investing.com. So at the end of the program, I'll share a link with them, which has a pre-recorded program. You can just go to that link and you can, it's a 30-minute program that will tell you everything about how to open a chart, which site to use, so, and how to put that line, how to look at this, everything is there.
Sir, how is going to be your market remaining months?
We'll come to that. Obviously, I'll not end the session without that. We'll also talk about stocks.
So you're basically doing, you invest, you are advise technical rather than the fundamental.
So I advise on stocks. See, approach can be anything. What should be important is where to buy, where to exit. Now, there are two ways to say. Now, I can say a particular thing. For example, Friday morning show, I said that IDFC First Bank मुझे बहुत अच्छा लग रहा है. ये पैटर्न हो चुका है और यहाँ पे आप यहाँ पे ले सकते हो. ये आपका स्टॉप लॉस होना चाहिए. मुझे लग रहा है यहाँ से ये 66 तक जा सकता है. The price was 60. Now that is what I said. Someone can come after the result and say, now yesterday the results came out. I spoke on Friday. The results have doubled. There is a 100% profit good or something. Now someone can come and say that IDFC First Bank का जो पैट है वो 100% ग्रोथ किया है, नेट इंटरेस्ट इनकम इतना ग्रो किया है, एनपीए इतना डाउन आया है, इसीलिए आप खरीद सकते हो. So see, there are two ways. It's just a statement. What is important is where to buy, where to sell.
So your assessment is based on technical.
Purely technical.
So you see 150 charts every day.
Yes.
How much time you spend?
So sorry, I just lost that topic. So when I started looking at these 150 charts a day, 2015 and 16, I needed almost 4 hours that point of time, and coming home from JP Morgan, all those hectic. But I decided ये देखना ही है. So from there, in 1 month, the time went down to 2 hours. Now to see 150 charts, I need 20 minutes.
So you keep the same setup and all 150
Yes,
charts
and just change the names one by one. Same setup.
No different formulas for
No, nothing. And I mainly look at only the candlesticks.
If you want to follow you, what are the different ways that we can follow you?
So I told you the Twitter, I am very active on Twitter. This ID, that is @PrashantSWealth. Even if you don't have a Twitter ID, you can make it in a minute. It is very easy. See, normally I was reluctant to go on Twitter. Why? Because I never knew how Twitter works. I just made an ID 6 months ago. Now I am very comfortable with Twitter. So it is as simple as a Facebook or a WhatsApp. Very simple. You can do that. All you need to do is find this and follow me. Then you can get everything that I talk. YouTube channel I showed you. It is this. That is Catalyst Wealth. You can find this and you can follow my videos also. And if you want to watch my shows, then Wednesday morning 8 o'clock I am on CNBC Awaaz, and Friday morning 8 o'clock, and Tuesday morning 9 o'clock DD Sahyadri Banda Rupaya, and Mondays I am on Money Control 9 AM show. So that is where normally I am available. But the major show that I do is Thursday 12 noon rather, on CNBC Awaaz. Why? Because Thursday is the derivatives expiry, index expiry in the weekly days, and main all stocks and index expiry on monthly Thursdays, last Thursday. So that is where I give a view on indices, that is Nifty, Bank Nifty, and I talk about my derivatives approach for the week. So a lot of people who are into derivatives follow me there. Now derivatives, there is one term you will hear regularly, options. You know, call, put, kya hota hai? So there's a good side, there's a bad side. Good side is if you have that knowledge and if you can hit a 50% to 40% of success ratio, 80-90 ka I will not talk, 40 to 50% of a success ratio, say in a year of learning, it will give you a far more consistent return than any other instrument. It is not easy, but still it is easy. Why it is not easy? Because we are not used to being disciplined. We read news, we read tips, we follow the wrong things. That is why it is not easy. But if you cut yourself from all this and just follow any one system, then it is very easy. So typically I always say that, you know, my experience has been women or females or girls, they have been very good after learning. Why? Because they are used to that disciplined mindset. But we as men or boys, हम लोग क्या करते हैं? सबसे पहला we want to question, ये ऐसा क्यों? You know, and we want to show our entry. So I come from a strong educational meritorious background. 10th merit ranker, old SSC, not this best of 5 and all. Old SSC merit ranker. So lot of price. So it was always on my head that I am intelligent. So when I came to the stock market, I wanted to apply my intelligence, and that's where I started failing. Because this does not need intelligence. This needs discipline. And वो तो था ही नहीं when I started. So वो लाना पड़ा, and when that comes, then it comes easy to you. So as a mechanical engineer, the person we loved and hated was Sir Isaac Newton, because everywhere उनके ही formula आने. But he tried to get into the stock market. Most intelligent brain according to this. So he came in the stock market. He failed miserably. Why? Because he wanted to apply his intelligence. And he has written a statement which most of the people don't know. You can find on Google that I can easily study and predict the movement of the planets, but I can never study and predict the craziness of the people in the stock market. You will find this statement on Google. So this is by Sir Isaac Newton. Big thing coming in. So that is how I have made the whole thing. Now, any other queries? Anything?
Market works on emotions.
Very strong, yes.
Everybody likes.
Yes.
To what extent we can apply rationality to it? Charts, graphs, or we just have to accept that it works on emotions?
No. So there is a very basic thing. If you can keep the emotions out. Now, how to keep the emotions out?
In general, masses are.
Yeah.
Everybody works on emotions.
Yeah. So from that perspective itself, I'll tell you. So one emotion which comes to everyone is fear, right? And it comes to me also. It comes to everyone. Very normal thing. Whenever you do an investment in big quantity, fear will come to you. Very natural. मतलब अगर कोई बोलेगा नहीं आता है, so that person is lying. It comes to everyone. Even today, if I buy something in a big quantity, initially there is some fear, but I know how to overcome it because I know my exit point. So what happened is 2018, I went to a place called Leh Ladakh, and before going there, I went to a place called Kargil. So we were having tea, friends, 6 of us, and we were standing right below the Tiger Hills, and I was also having fun. Suddenly a thought came to my mind, when that guide told us that the entire 150-kilometer range was occupied by those Pakistani gunmen, and they were aiming down. We could not even see them. So the thought which came to my mind is, see, I have a daughter. Vesi, the soldier who was there, he would be having his kids, parents, wife, whatever. And he is knowing that there is someone who is easily seeing him, जिसको वो दिख भी नहीं रहा है, putting his gun, मतलब वो एक gun point पे है, उसको पता भी नहीं. But he took that one step forward, Now that, for me, the thought was fear. And that day I realized, बाकी कुछ तो fear है ही नहीं. क्या, if I lose money, I can always make money. But if I lose my life, what's going to happen? So, in 2018, that one thought helped me a lot to get rid of lot of fears in life. Not only the stock market, a lot of fears. Because I felt that, इसके ऊपर तो कुछ fear हो ही नहीं सकता है. But इस fear के बावजूद अगर किसी ने वो first, second, third step लेके वहाँ तक गया, so for us it is very easy. And then there is no fear. So when I had that thought and I gave that thought to my students, they also felt that yes, ये तो अगर if I lose 2 lakhs, 4 lakhs, and there are people who are regularly losing money in the stock market. When they show me their mobile, most of the times it is red. And I ask them, अरे आपने इधर exit नहीं किया? नहीं, ये तो ऊपर आएगा ना. So that is the wrong thing which is going on. And the day an Indian investor matures, I think, this is my view and I want that to happen, the Indian stock market will be one of the strongest performing market, whether it is an uptrend or a downtrend, but it will be always rewarding, and the market is always rewarded. Only thing is you should know how to, make the maximum benefit for it. And if you apply a system, like a basic thing which I showed you, you just make a rule that I will only exit if this breaks. It will remove all your emotions, all the fears, all the greed. And at some point of time, if you feel that my target has achieved, book out and go out. When you feel that और आ सकता है, that's where you are breaking the rule. So you can always rationalize that way.
What about individuals' emotions? In general, everybody who is putting the money inside the market.
That is where you will have the opportunity if you can control them. That is what I said right at the start. See, the best place here is there are a lot of people coming here with lot of money and no knowledge. That's why it is a good place to have highest probability of doing well. It takes time. If someone tells you that कल से होगा तो नहीं होता है. 3-4 months and definitely things start shaping up. Obviously yes. But 3-4 months of effort. What kind of an effort? So typically I say that on the weekend, including Saturday, Sunday, you should put in at least 1.5 to 2 hours. And on the weekdays you put 10 minutes, enough. Because on the weekend you have to find a list of 5 stocks. And उस पूरे हफ्ते में उस 5 के अलावा कुछ मत देखो. कोई भी कुछ भी मैसेज डाले उसको अवॉइड करो. ये 5 स्टॉक में as per your system, if anything is happening, you take action. If nothing is happening, don't do anything for that week. See, I always use one statement. The market is not going anywhere. वी फील दैट आज मैंने सवानों पे नहीं एंटर किया तो मेरा कुछ हो जाएगा, कुछ नहीं होता. And there are a lot of people who want to put in that first. I was one of them. Why do you talk about others? 9:15, if I did not put in a trade in 2009, 10, 11, I used to feel कि ये मैंने क्या कर दिया. So at any point of time, I used to be there and I used to put that time the market used to open at 9:50 if I'm not wrong. Now it's 9:15. So those kind of mistakes is where everyone starts. Any other query?
So what is the time horizon that we should look? And the curve that you showed, is it applicable for derivatives also? Two questions.
Absolutely, it is applicable for a crypto also. You can put Bitcoin on this. You will Bitcoin has been actually designed technically, so it works perfectly on technicals. Now on 15,000, when it started coming up, I said this can do well. Although I personally don't, because I don't understand. See, I trade what I understand. Now I understand commodities, I understand currency, I understand stocks. I don't understand crypto, so I don't trade. But if you talk about just entering and exiting and making money, I can show you on crypto. I don't do it because I don't understand कि उसके underlying में क्या है, वो क्या आएगा क्या जाएगा, that I don't know. So I don't trade, but I can easily.
And what is the time horizon?
That can be anything. So this was a daily chart. So typically when you talk about swing trading, the position is as per textbook say 5-10 days, but you can say 10-15 days, 2.5 weeks, or if it's a positional trade, then it can be a few months also. And now that market is not in that zone where you can hold for years, because any and every stock, it moves in a few months only and the trend dies out. So that you should know.
You discussed about system, so you offer algo also.
Algo is a fad. I mean, it's a thing which is created well. But what is algo? It comes from technicals. So when you know the technicals, you can easily make one. Like say,
Away from the screen.
that's what I said. So my systems are the ones I teach. They don't need screen presence, except for if you are doing on the expiry day the index options. So
Yeah, I think considering the time thing, and all of us are eager to have your views for the.
yeah, definitely.
So,
So
maybe we'll hear your views first, and possibly then if time permits, we'll go for the.
Yeah. So according to me, the index in the next 10-15 days can do well, but that does not mean that you have to rush and buy, because already it is doing well. Already maybe if you open around 18,200, 250, 300, that is not a level to enter. But definitely you can start looking at whatever the one sector that I am targeting is PSU banks. So small banks first of all, which is your South Indian Bank, then Union Bank, all those things keep an eye. That doesn't mean you go and buy, keep an eye. And the system that I'll share on the group, which they might send to you on WhatsApp, you can try, check it there. Then Canara Bank, SBI, I think they may do really well. So they may do really well. So keep an eye there. According to me, very, very strong sector. Currently, pharma is doing well, but I always have my strong doubts on pharma. I'll tell you the reason why. So 2016 or something, 16 if I'm not wrong, I used to have good positions in pharma, and Oro Pharma in 2014 particularly did very well for me. But 2016 I saw that I used to be in Glenmark, or I used to be in it used to do well. Suddenly overnight there used to be an announcement by US FDA, and next morning it used to happen 10-15% gap down. So I felt it's not worth the effort, at least not to be traded in derivatives. In cash you can definitely look at it. So pharma sector is doing well. If there is any rally in IT, most important statement according to me, if there is any rally in IT and it comes, your investments become profitable, my suggestion would be to book profits for some time and stay out of it, at least for the next 2 quarters. The second half of the year can be a little painful for the markets. Painful in terms of what? Because we call downtrend as painful. But according to me, the best money is made in a downtrend. And the way I prefer is when the market crashes, if you know how to make money in options or by shorting, then you put that money in your investments instead of putting in new money regularly. That is the way I prefer, but everyone has his or her own style. So understand the trend. Now a few other stocks which I think can do well are Borosil Renewables, trading around somewhere around 510. Then there is FDC, so you can look at that. So pharma sector, small picks, try to find them. Now if you ask me about the IPO, I don't have any idea. Main thing, avoid stocks like Zomato and all, where you will read a lot of stories that ye 100 ho sakta hai, 150. My suggestion is avoid. avoid till when? So I'll give you a basic rule. Any stock that is listed, that is the IPO day, you look at the high of that day and the low of that day. Understand one thing, after IPO, there is a major emotion coming out on that stock, right? So you need to look at the Zomato IPO high and low. The day it closes above the high of that day, you can buy that stock. Why? Because that is telling me that whatever selling was there on the first day and then it had gone on, whatever has happened, now that is negated. So then I can look at it with a different perspective, that is somewhere around 80 rupees. But till that does not happen, do not keep stocks like Zomato and all. You might read news that यहाँ से अच्छा करेगा. Stay cautious, stay away, because it is your hard-earned money. At the same time, if you get good opportunities in auto, and as I said, PSU, banking sector, they all can do very well. If you ask me which one stock should be in your portfolio for the next 5 years, I would always take a name, IDFC First Bank. I think it is doing very well. And if the market corrects, if you get it at lower price, keep adding. Any other query?
What about railways? Nowadays, railways.
I saw it already went up. So I recommended it at start of the March end at 64 rupees with a stop loss of 60 rupees. I have that video. I recommended money control and 80 now. From 64, my target was 75, 80, and it has gone to 110. Now I can't recommend you buy at 110. Why? Because in 1 month it has gone up.
What surprising is that day before yesterday they got Navratna, they have come in, but still it gone down.
So I'll tell you the logic here. So in technicals we say buy on rumors and sell on news. No, it's a fact. So whenever there is a news, as I told you, that when there is a strong news going around, that is a time to book profit. Why? Because lot of the term used is laggard investors. Laggard means those who have missed the opportunity. They'll come in looking at the news, and the smart money will exit. So normally, whenever you see any major news about a stock or a result, don't buy. Like Axis Bank, what happened that day? The result was good, everything was there, but it tanked. But if you go back 2018, one of the worst results of Axis Bank, and it went up 7% on that day. So don't go by the events. As a fresh starter, avoid investing or trading on events. Result days, avoid. Don't go by the news. But yes, sectors wise, sugar sector can do very well. Keep an eye there. And I feel that Indian Oil Corporation for the next 2-3 years, already a rich cash dividend paying company, but I think that it can do very well. It has been stuck in a range, but that one stock can do very well.
Which are the oil companies who are the beneficiaries of this economic cheap oil we are getting from Russia?
So I don't know which are the beneficiaries. If you ask me which stock is looking good for holding, that is in IOC. Yes, for sure.
Can you share your experience about CNBC hours?
Yeah, experience. So experience has been good now. Just to tell you, when I started, obviously it was a very nervous journey, the stock market itself, because coming from a Maharashtrian family, this is a very kind of a no-no space. Ki, Are, hey kashala. But my parents always encouraged me, my wife also encouraged me, and I have been in that industry, which means Lehman Brothers, Nomura, everything. And then I started, so one fine day I got a call that you can come on our show, and I went. Now there, what happens is there are a lot of people lined up. So if you don't perform, someone else can take your place. By God's grace, the first day that I advised, it worked. Then later on, there were days when it did not work also, but eventually I saw that I had only one slot, which was Thursday 12 p.m., the main show, derivative show. Now there, they came out with the concept of Hero Zero. Hero Zero is what? On the expiry day, give one option, which can either go to 0 or become a hero, that is go 2x or 3x. Now there my accuracy ratio hit around, went to around 88-95%. Now that is very high, beyond what I can expect. I look at 50%. So that's where I got more limelight, and I went on their panel, and now I am on their morning shows and closing shows also. So it has been a good journey.
You are a hero of CNBC.
No, I have just started. There are a lot of heroes. I think a person like Prakash Gaba, sharing screen with him is my mama, my uncle always messages me. I am happy to see you with a senior person like Prakash Gaba. So, that is, tumcha baror basto Didi Sayadri, that itself is like an achievement for me. So, it has been a good start. Abhi to Delhi bahut dur hai.
So what made you turn an entrepreneur from a job?
So, what happens is, I told you that start of the program itself, there are 2 to 3 words in a Marathi and Gujarati family which has killed many dreams. In Marathi it is ki अरे पण कशासाठी, and Gujarati पण सेनी माटी, क्यों, अच्छा जॉब है, सब चल रहा है, but I wanted to do something of my own. Now the reason I'll tell you that it is a very personal reason. I've shared with very few people. So when you have a salary, the salary can be 10,000, 10 lakhs, 10 crores, anything. Your expenses are always aligned to that salary. And whatever you want to do over and above that, you can't do. So something happened in 2016 where I felt that there is something extra I should do for some extra thing. That's where I felt that I should have a company, where the company can have a goal which will be bigger than my goal, where some part of that goes for this XYZ. And that's where I started thinking on those lines. So initially when I started, people came to me that you manage our portfolios. But because I always wanted to teach. Now, see, when I was into my engineering, my passion was to teach till 12th, maths and science. Even today, my first love is maths and science. And if I teach maths and science, maybe I can teach better than the stock market also. So that was my love, and that's where I felt that if I'm able to teach, I'm again going back to what I was learning. So I formed this company with my co-founder Rahul Vani, and so he's a Gujarati, I'm a Maharashtrian. But when people meet us, they say कि तू जास्त गुजराती आणि तो जास्त मराठी वाटतो. So that's but a good combination.
So when your call goes wrong, how do you handle it?
When my
So many people are looking at you. When the call goes wrong.
That's okay, because I have given them the exit point. So if the call goes wrong, I always first post that the stop loss has triggered exit. Because why people just want to hold what they feel is see, suppose I have reached an accuracy of 90%, they will feel that अरे ये इसका गलत नहीं जाएगा. So I tell them that ये गलत हुआ, exit करो. Don't lose more. That is where, see, I always say that if you protect your weapons, if you safeguard your weapons, you will always live another day to fight. But आपके weapons ही खत्म हो गए. Here the weapon is on the capital. So if it gets eroded, then you will miss the big trend. So that's why protect is, you have gone wrong, exit with a small loss. And whenever you exit with small losses and hold, now people do exactly opposite. So they'll stand in losses. Red portfolio, जैसे ही वो green होता है ना, they'll exit. अरे आ गया. So why are you trading? This is what happens. That's why hold your profits. Let them run. And how to hold? The one system that I showed you, or you can always stay attached to me in my other programs. One of my programs is called 7 Wonders of Trading, which I have shaped in a way that it starts with a common platform for all, which means as basic as what is a share, what is a stock, and how to put it on a chart. From there it goes to how to find positional investments, how to build a portfolio. Why? That is my first 7 wonders, that means 7 strategies. So why I have put that is, what happens is, if I recommend a stock which is say 80 rupees, someone will go and buy 1,000, 5,000, 10,000. Suppose I recommend a stock which is 500 rupees, someone will go and buy 50 or 100. Now there has to be a rule-based buying, rule-based investing. That should not be on the cost of the stock. That should be on how much risk are you willing to take. And that should be same for every investment. Yes, it can increase based on your conviction, but it cannot be X for something and 0.1X for something. It has to be in that range. So that happens to be the first strategy, which is the positional portfolio building. First 2 strategies are that. The third strategy is something called as swing trading. Swing trading means what? Your positions for 5 to 10, 15 days, how to get them, either in cash or in derivatives. Then there are 4 strategies which are momentum. Momentum means what? Which stocks are moving fast, either up or down. So that can be traded in cash or futures or options. Now, what we initially feel is options is not my piece of cake, but it is all easy. So I've had 19-year-olds, I had homemakers who have studied options, and they are now trading options comfortably. So anything that you learn, see, when we are in 8th, we feel 10th is very difficult. But when we go to our 12th, we feel 10th to kitna aasan tha. So it's the same thing when you learn anything. So that's how 7 Wonders is shaped. And what I'll do is I'll share the link with you so you can put it on the group. And I'll come out with something good for the whole group, which you can share, and then we can stay connected on that program also. We can do that. But I'll give everyone one link, which is a basic technical analysis program, which I have recorded for 30 minutes. You can go to that link. You can watch that whole program. That will give you a lot of confidence. So that is already available. 7 Wonders is one of my program, which those who are interested to take it to the next level can join.
Power sector and real estate.
Real estate, I think DLF is looking good. Power, so there is a small cap, HBL Power, not exactly power sector, but I always talk about that. I have recommended that at 37 last year, 64 and 84 and 92. It is now 117. That's why I say keep on buying higher, not lower. I think it can do well. Then I think these RECs, PFCs, NTPC, Coal India, they can also do well. But my suggestion is, looking at this major run, don't go all out, hold on. You might feel you have missed the rally, but you will again see a dip in the index in the second half. That can be the opportunity. And I feel that why this is a good time to learn, because according to me, somewhere around 2024, we can see the biggest ever bull run, not only in India, in the global. See, only India can't run. Dow chalega, tabhi sab chalta hai. Nasdaq is the main indicator. You see how Nifty follows Nasdaq, not Dow, but Nasdaq is the very key indicator. So I feel that there will be a major global bull run next year or just end of the year. That's where you will have opportunities. But in this, when the market goes down, in Marathi we say Mandit Sandhi, which means in the down market, you can find out, apply your knowledge and find the good stocks. So that's where these small PSU banks like Union Bank, maybe what I told you, South Indian Bank or JNK Bank, anyone. See, the mistake we do is we try to put all the eggs in one basket. Small PSU banks chalega, so you will buy South Indian, you will buy Union, you will buy JNK, and if the sector doesn't work, then all get stuck. When it works, the whole portfolio. You should have diversification. Means what? A good bank, then you have a private bank, you have some metals, you have auto. So auto ancillary companies can do very well. Now JBM Auto has already gone up. Otherwise I would have said this is not the level to enter. Too high. It was around 300 rupees, it is now 800, 850.
What is your view on IT sector?
IT sector, I would say if there is a rally and if the stocks that you are holding in your portfolio come to a profit, at least book profit once and hold, wait for some time. You will get it at a good price in the second half. I think out of that whole lot, IOC might do very well. Because something, I don't know what will come out, but definitely there looks to be something that, I'll tell you the reason why, how I am thinking about it. So the market crashed. And when the market crashed, you will see that every single stock crashed. IOCL has not broken even 75. It is at that level only. Someone might say, chala nahi hai. Yes, chala nahi hai. But tuta bhi nahi hai. So when a stock doesn't break in a weak market, when a market becomes strong, that stock has high chances of going up. That is just one rationale. And based on that, I have seen something on investment perspective, purely to be hold. I think the dividend itself, like what Vedanta did in terms of dividend. But may do well. I think SRF has broken out, if I'm not wrong. And if you look at some small companies, be a little cautious about, there's a company called Rosari Biotech. I would be a little cautious there. Other than that, things look good. Make Money Organics is decent. But my favorite here is a company called as Galaxy Surfactants. So they supply to HUL and all, but that is not the reason. There are two reasons. First is always technical. Second is the founder of the company, he is no more now, Mr. Sudhir Patil was my uncle. So, and that is my first. So when I did my engineering, his plant was in Taloja. And my father went to him and told him, "Are hala zara machine वगैरह बघायला सांग." So he said, "You will have to go to Taloja from Borivali." That is like a 2.5 hour, another planet altogether. So my father said, "हा काय जाणार नाही." So they both spoke and said, 3 महिने गेलास तर मग तुला मी machine शिकवीन. So I went for 3 whole months, no salary after my engineering. But that's where I learnt and I saw what they were doing. So that time there used to be a tanker which used to come of one of the Babas, I won't take the name, but they market it as an Ayurvedic brand. And it should be all full of they used to take this chemical, sodium lauryl sulfate and all, and make the shampoo. So, that's where I saw that they are supplying to HUL, they are supplying to PNG, they are supplying to Colgate. And now on the technicals, I saw that good company.
So, if I have to ask you, if I have to invest for a long term, 3 to 5 years today, so if you're saying second half, it's likely to be downturn. So, should we wait for 6 months to enter long term?
No, I think when the market starts going down, the strong picks that you have, like the one I said, IDFC First Bank, the mistake we do is we invest all at one go. So suppose you get it at 55, put in 10% of what you want to buy in that particular stock. Then you get it at 50, put in 10%. But the system that I told you, follow that. When it shows an exit, don't enter. Only when it gives an entry, that time enter. If we do this basic thing, you will never have a yes back. You will always have something that is going up.
Sir, ITC can go still high. ITC.
It can go high, but I would not enter here because this would be an emotional entry where it has moved so much, so I would wait for a dip. But if you look at Jubilant Foodworks in that sector, it can now pick up.
What is your take on
IKEA hotels?
EKI Energy?
No, I have not tracked the stocks. Now, yesterday someone asked me, what is your take on Akshit cotton or Akshata cotton, something of that. Huh?
Ambika.
Not Ambika. Akshit or Akshita. So I said, I don't know. So he said, nahi, iska bhav nahi dikh raha. I said, to delist hua rahega. It's a tip you are taken. So I have not heard about it.
Yes, sir. I've seen your 0 and 0.
Oh, you are same?
Zero.
Okay.
You are on the buyer side or the seller side in options?
No. I am on this 7 Wonders program is options buying program. I write options. I write options because that is where good money is made. But I prefer buying options. Why? Because see, when I teach, क्या होता है कि on Twitter you will see a lot of people who are promoting option selling. But not everyone has 1 crore of capital, right? So you start small. So when you are starting small, the right place for you is to buy options. But that does not mean you buy any option and lose that small capital also. Treat that small capital as a big capital, which I always talk on the show also. If you have invested 10,000, but your emotions have to be as if you are investing 10 crores. And if you can sleep, then you are doing the right investment. But otherwise, हम क्या सोचते हैं 10,000 जाएगा तो क्या होगा? But look at it as if you are investing 10 crores. You know, and that's what I talk about. Sorry, I can't hear you. The time?
Can we just talk about that magical line and how we can make it?
No, so that magical line, I'll give a program to you all, which you can straight study. It has a pre-recorded program. And those who want to go to the next level can join 7 Wonders. All the information I can give to them. Crude? I think positionally I feel it can show 100. Yeah, that is $100.
And that will ruin the sentiment of the market.
सेंटिमेंट तो पहले ही रुइन हो जाता है जब ये होना है तभी ये सब तो रीजन बाद में आते हैं सो सी दैट टाइम कोविड टाइम आई थिंक क्रूड हैड शोन 0 दैट अदर क्रूड बट मार्केट हैज आल्सो क्रैश्ड सो यू कांट रिलेट सी टिपिकली व्हाट पीपल डू इज व्हेन क्रूड फॉल्स दे गो एंड बाय एशियन पेंट्स राइट whenever crude falls they go and buy Asian paints but I'll show you entire 2021 when crude was also up and Asian paints was also up when dollar goes up everyone wants to buy IT. But I'll show you dollar has gone from 73 to 81. Infosys has fallen 45%. So these things don't work.
Sir,
Anything?
Larsen to grow. Nowadays going up.
Yeah, good. Any dip can be bought. Not if there is a dip, it can be bought.
Tata Elxsi went up to 10,000, came back to 6,000. So it is again moving up.
So see, Tata Elxsi is a stock which you can just fit on this basic 20 moving average system. It will give you the right entry and exit because it is less traded and whenever it shows an entry, typically it gives a good 5-10%.
So we get always confused between Tata Elxsi or KPIT.
So KPIT, what it did typically what KPIT did is there was a report 2 weeks ago and it said that something negative and it fell down. Now when it fell down, I did not read the report, but I saw ये तो buying level पे आया and when I went on the show, someone said KPIT में ऐसा हुआ वैसा हुआ. Now I can't buy because I have recommended on the show, but definitely indirectly I said it can be bought. From there it came up. So see, people who are powerful without taking the names, powerful as in not an individual, institutions, they'll make the news. KPIT has something negative and when it comes down. So when we do technicals, there is a previously stock markets used to be on the floor, right? You used to walk. So in the US, there is a term called as a guy with a blue Armani jacket. Now that is what nothing but your Goldman Sachs, JP Morgan, Lehman Brothers. So they used to walk around the floors for 10 days without seeing. They used to see the emotion of the floor. Now for example, if someone is saying, "Arey, Reliance le lo," so they will just see the emotion and everybody is buying. So one fine day what he'll do is, whatever reliance he has, he'll obviously have more than these people. He'll put in a strong sell order. As soon as he puts a sell order, all these people will panic and they'll also sell their this thing. Now when it goes down and crashes, he'll not only cover his, he'll also buy there. And then he'll take the stock up. So that is what happened with KPIT also. You go and check this thing, you will see this. That news was made, it came down from there, it again came up.
So Prashant, just to interrupt, possibly the biggest learning today is that you say that you maintain the discipline.
Yes.
Now, typically we believe in maintaining the discipline in terms of time also.
Yeah.
So possibly we'll end the queries and I would request Mr. Tardakar to address us and then we'll close the session with Pasada. Thank you.
So big applause for Prashant. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much, Prashant. In fact, he's basically what you say, a channel boy or a channel person. Everybody follows him, and I know Prashant for now maybe 1.5 years or so, and he always talks about the technical analysis, but he's fundamentally so sound that you can make up that he talks about putting your emotion in 10,000. Let me tell you that this kind of program is basically bit offbeat kind of a program. All the seniors sitting here, we know that we don't recommend stocks and all. But the way SEBI has recognized the word, their SEBI registered analysts, so they can recommend stock based on their evaluation and their perception, which is made common to even our TV channels, because we have seen a lot of even some people on Telegram groups, they are doing a lot of these activities and actually hampering our genuine investors. So Prashant, in fact, has a lot of following from the young generation. You can follow him on Twitter, and you can actually know the ups and downs. You just close your eyes about what is happening in the market, whether somebody has made a profit in quarterly, year, or whatever. And then you correlate what Prashant says. So that is the beauty of that technical analysis. What happens at buying and selling level, that is tracked. So that's what I call Prashant's analysis is basically fundamentally sound, but it's a technical analysis. So big applause for the hero for coming here. And the way we generally look at the things, I think he's given some kind of indications for us. The way he spoke about IT stocks. If he's talking about NASDAQ reaching highs in 2024, it's but obvious, Prashant, correct me if I'm wrong, what will happen to our IT stocks, because if US is going to perform. So that's the thing, kind of a thing that we should look for opportunities, Mandit Sandhi, as he told, when the IT stocks really go up, because generally we are very emotional to IT stocks. We always feel TCS, Wipro or Infi will never go down, but which is a reality. Of course, there are opportunities for buyback as well. So from all that perception, whether IT or whichever, I think we'll be really welcoming Prashant's that 30 minutes capsule, which will help us to with small capital. And let me tell you, in many of the colleges, if you interact with the students, those who have just 18 years of age, they play very large scale on options in today's world. And option has been probably sort of a taboo for many of the investors, especially the senior citizens here. But we need to change. Like we moved from test match to T20 to IPL. This is probably the IPL what we look at options, and with very small capital you can really make money. That is the lesson probably we learned today. So again, thank you Prashant for being here, and all of you on this Sunday afternoon. Thank you very much.